General, $24,822.87. Park, $85. LST, $655.07. And fire, $300. I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills for August 28th and September 4th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Treasurer's report for August, general fund ending balance $695,745.39. State fund $36,664.44. Fire fund $87,675.64. LST $38,325.56. Ambulance fund $1.12. Library fund $1.24. Road machinery $65,161.03. Open space fund $60,699. Park and Rec Fund $28,701.98. We have a capital purchase loan balance of $173,000. I'd like to make a motion to approve the treasury report for August. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Permits for August, we had sewage permits 2, zoning permits 7, and building permits 11. I'd like to make a motion to approve the permit report for August. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Monroe County Control Center monthly cost statistics for August, the number of overdoses was 1, with a year-to-date total of 5. I'd like to make a motion to approve the cost statistics for overdoses from the control center. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have Joseph Fitzsimmons to talk about the cell tower at Hydersburg.
Good evening. First, my name is Joseph Fitzsimmons, Fitzsimmons. I have to start off by apologizing. I was supposed to be here 2 weeks ago, but my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, and I read PM instead of 8 a.m. So I drove up here, and you people weren't here. So I apologize for that. I hope it didn't create any inconvenience for you. I build multiple tenant towers, which means I put one tower up and I put AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and there'll be a fourth carrier to be determined later on, because Sprint just merged with T-Mobile, so that leaves Sprint out of the equation. But I think Dish Wireless is going to wind up coming into the area. So this tower that I'm proposing would be able to accommodate all 4 carriers. They might not all get on there, but they'd be able to. And the way I designed the towers, I don't know what's happening next year or the year after, so I over-design them. So that when they do modifications on the tower can handle it, not only above ground, but also with the foundation below ground. I'm looking to possibly lease a 50-foot by 50-foot parcel over at High Acres Park. I have a location that I'd like to use in the parking lot. I have pictures I can show you where I took. Try and hide it as best we can. Right now I'm looking at between 150 and 180 foot tower. I'll only build as tall as we need to, but because of the trees and the terrain in the area, we might have to go to 180 feet. I won't go to 200 or above, because if you do that, then you have to mark it and or light it. And we don't want to light the tower. I do know that Verizon is looking at a site across the street at the cemetery. I think it's Moravian Acres Cemetery, and they were denied. So what I do is I come in and I talk. I met with Pam, I met with Gerald to try and determine, where we could locate a tower. They're very helpful, no guarantee. But what I'd like to do is work with your solicitor on doing what we call an option agreement. Basically what that is, we have the body of the lease, all the terms and conditions are negotiated, and then I have an option for 2 years to try and get all my due diligence, get my carriers lined up, and then come in with my presentation for conditional use. It's a telecommunications facility that's permitted by conditional use. I'll only build it as high as it needs to be, and I'll pay an upfront fee for the option, which makes it basically binding. And then if nothing ever happens, congratulations, you just got an option fee for nothing. And I'm out that money. But if I can get the carriers to sign up, which I think I can, then when I start construction, I'll start paying rent for the site. It's a conservation district, so it's permitted by conditional use. The lease will be basically 29 years, 11 months. That way we don't have to pay any real estate transfer taxes or anything like that. And then at the end of that time period, then we can basically renegotiate another lease to extend it. I can work with you guys on rental payments, you know. We can talk about that if, you know, you allow me to work with the township on building a tower. What I can do is give you the card. And just as by way of background, back in 1985 to 1997, I built what's now the Verizon cellular system in Lackawanna, Missouri, Monroe counties. I was running the cellular system, and I was building towers all over the country and sites all over the country. We got bought out in 1997, and as a director, I wouldn't move to Chicago, so I was basically out of a job. So that's why I started the FCC. So if I call people and say, hi, this is Joe Fitzsimmons from the FCC, they generally call me back. Right? Until they find out it's Fitzsimmons Communications Consultants, and they might not call me the second time. But
Here we might think you're the friendly community center.
Right.
yeah, that could be that. Could be that. I did a quick search through the FAA and FCC database. This does not guarantee it, but this tower does not require to be marked and or lit. All right, now I'll do the 7460-1 through the FAA to confirm all that, but right now it doesn't need to be lit and or marked. And when I say marked, I mean painted. We generally paint them international orange and white. So this is just a couple things to give to you. This is a copy of your zoning map. It shows where the proposed tower is going to be. This is another map that basically shows where the other towers are in the area. This is the same thing. Recently I built a tower in Scranton, PA. It's a 140-foot monopole. There's a picture. You can see that's a 50-foot by 50-foot compound. Kind of take pride in what we do to make it look nice. And that's only an 8-foot high fence. I know here you require a 12-foot high fence, so we'll meet the requirements.
Do you have a location for it, Joe?
Yes, I just get into that.
Okay.
Up at the park, when you pull in and drive down to the left, there's a parking area up there. It's a paid parking area. And I think you have a baseball field down to the left as you're driving up there. I'm proposing to go up into the parking lot area up in a corner. Now I need to have a survey done to make sure I know exactly where the township, where the property lines are, so we meet the setbacks. Because if I build a 180-foot tower, and let's say I have a 5-foot lightning rod on the top, then I have to be 185 feet from every property line. So we'll work with the township to get the exact location of the tower in the parking lot.
So,
I
are you
think he's
talking
talking
about
about the new one you made.
after the dumpster, the parking lot on the right?
Yes.
The bigger.
So that's on the
Yeah, the
second
bigger
parcel,
one.
right?
The one
Here's,
you got the grant for.
These are some pictures.
The one you got the
I
grant.
apologize for the quality of the pictures,
So
but,
not up by the pavilions?
No, the new parking lot.
Yeah.
So is that new parking lot in the second parcel? So that's, the Hikers Park's actually 3 parcels. It has to be 185 feet from
Yeah, it's
every
a-
property line.
yes.
Are we even gonna have that?
Yeah, you will, because Buck Hill's line comes down in there, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'll do the survey, and
Okay.
trust me, I will meet the setbacks.
Okay.
Stream there, so.
Right, and what is that?
And this is, just gives you a little perspective. I think there's a
Right.
little,
Different views.
there's a little shed there.
Okay.
Will this help us sell students?
Yes.
Like, I know that's.
Because there's
Yeah.
no
weird
service
question
in
in
Park
Park
Ray.
Ray.
So
It-
Well, and I didn't know if it's up so high, if it has to meet X amount.
Well, this here
it's not gonna serve the area.
Right.
So, you know, one of the problems you have in this area is you have a lot of mountainous terrain, you have a lot of trees,
Parking lot is back there.
and with the trees, you have what they call green leaf attenuation. So as you're in the spring and the summer,
No, yeah.
you'll find that your cell service is not as good as it is in the fall and in the wintertime. Because the sap in the trees and the leaves literally blocks signals, and it degrades the signals. And that's why you need a little bit higher. Back in 1985, when I started building the cellular systems, nobody knew this was gonna take off. You only had 7 and 10 digit dialing, and if you were in State College, Pennsylvania,
This way.
and
Yeah.
your husband or your boyfriend or whatever tried to reach you, they'd have to dial the State College roamer access number, 10
And then we
digit
got
number.
charged.
You get a dial tone, and then you have to dial the 10 digit number to reach that phone. Now, everybody, all the systems are interconnected. A lot of the carriers have, like I built the State College system, so all you have to do is dial the 7 digits off your cell phone. And you'll be able to reach there. But, back then, we would try and go as high as you could. And we did omnidirectional antennas, because we didn't know, nobody knew that this was actually gonna work. They had what they called improved mobile telephone service, where you had a phone and you had a transceiver that was about this big, about that big in the back of your car. And what you did is you paid for minutes or hours of use. So if you had 2 hours of use, at 2 hours and 1 second, your phone would shut off. All right, and it was not real popular because it was big equipment, it wasn't that good. So we went on the highest, mountains we could find, or highest areas, and we went omnidirectional, but then, which means you're transmitting 360 degrees. And you had 3 antennas, 1 upright, 2 inverted. 2 inverted were for receive, and 1 upright was for transmit. And what happened was, it became very popular. So now more and more people are using their phones, and you're selling more phones, and you now don't go on the highest part, or highest peak, because now you have co-channel interference with other sites around the area. So you try and go a little bit lower. That's why I'm doing a system in New York City right now. It's already built, but now we're putting in new sites, but they're on rooftops, because they're offloading other sites. And just by way of example, if I said, okay, here's one tower, there's another tower, they're covering a certain area, and then they overlap in the middle. So if you're driving from this site over to this site's coverage area, this site will detect that you're losing signal strength, this site picks you up, so you do what they call handoff. You hand off to another site. Now you don't know it. Back in 1985, you knew it, right? Because the signal levels were different. I'd be talking like this, you go to another site, right? So now that's fixed. But the problem is you have so many people using the systems. You have this site, now you put another site here, so you reduce the power here, and you have power here. So this one's no longer communicating or handing off to this one. You're handing off from here to here to here, and then you're reusing frequencies throughout the system, because there's only so many frequencies you can use. And now they're doing panel antennas. So the signal's directional. That way I can use channels 1 through 10 this way and 1 through 10 that way. So you're making better use of your spectrum and your sites. But in this case, what they're really looking to cover are the roadways and as much, of the developments that you have. Unfortunately, in this area, you don't have a lot of developments, all right? You have a lot more wooded area, so they're trying to cover the roadways. And again, I built the site over Mountain Home on the state game lands. I think it's state game lands 117 or 121. I built a tower there, and covered a good distance, but now they need more coverage. Carriers need more coverage. You have more carriers, so the need for more towers. And like I said, with my towers, they're over-designed, because like I said, I don't know what's happening next year or 2 years down the road. So whereas somebody else might be building a tower, they're gonna build it just for what they need right now. And then next year or the year later, they're gonna have to do modifications to the tower, and then they're gonna stick it to the carriers to pay for that, or the carriers wanna put additional antennas on there, or whatever, then they have to pay more. With me, I charge for a certain center line, and that's what they pay, and they can develop whatever they want in that center line. And then I will make, I'll make use or a room for the township, for the police, as long as I don't get tickets, all right? Or the fire department, and we can make room for that. I would need to know when I'm designing the tower, what the police or the fire department, or whomever, whatever they need, so I can, properly design the tower. Like I
We
said, the
do
tower.
have, there is a little airport,
Flying dollar.
Flying Dollar. They don't fly at night though, do they?
That's one of the things with this, you know, I checked, and we should be sufficiently far enough away from the airport, but and your ordinance covers this, so good for you that you picked this up. It's called the, FAA 7460-1, which is, you basically send a form into the FAA, they determine, are you gonna be a hazard to air navigation? So they look at all the airport, small and large, and they make a determination on whether you need to marking like the tower. Here's an example. I built, down at Scranton at the Evoca Airport. If you ever fly out of there, when you're driving in, you'll see a little tower off to the right by the airport. It's only 100 feet high. That was where, it's the old Channel 16 building, that's where our office was located. We had our switch there. I designed a 100-foot tower, and because I was right there at the airport, I had to paint it and light it. Now, you could just light it, but then it's blinking white light 24/7. If you paint it, then the red and white is for the day. Halfway up the tower, you have like 2 or 3 beacons, and at the top, you have a red beacon, which comes on when dusk. And it's controlled by a photocell. So it comes on different times during the day or at night. It's not constant. And that's how the tower's only 100 feet. You don't have to paint them and mark them and light them, generally unless they're 200 feet. But again, it's, to your question, it's where are you in relation to a runway at an airport. So, and I'll take care of it, and then there's a 7460-2 that you do. That is when you're post-construction, so you that way they can notify all the airmen that, hey, this tower's, it's going on. So.
Question.
Yes, is your tower gonna look like one of these fugly trees like they have down in?
No, no,
Okay. Just checking.
yep,
I'd rather see the antennas than what they have as an abomination.
yeah. Well, a lot of them, you know, I'm proposing a monopole, so you won't see the transmission lines, because they go down through the middle of the tower. Then when you come out the bottom, they come out of the portholes, and then you do a little loop, that's called a drip loop, just, it rains, water drips off and doesn't go into the building or into the equipment. So, and then we walk around it.
You have a little concrete shack next to it where you're trying.
Yeah, I used to do, buildings, I used to do 12 by 28 and 12 by 32 buildings. But now, like I said, that's back in 1985 to like 1990. And now what they do is they do outdoor equipment cabinets. So they put them in there, and, you know, they could be this high, you know, 2 or 3 feet. Now, they probably want a generator up there. I'm sorry?
And you disguise that as shrubbery.
If it requires it, I can put evergreen trees around it. There might be enough natural vegetation there that you don't need to do that.
I was being facetious.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I say that because I built one in Dalton that was up in the woods, and they made me put trees around. So, but, you know.
I hear you're gonna put branches on the building itself.
Yeah. I was gonna say, most of the carriers wanna have a generator there.
Back up.
So what they'll, yeah, for backup power. What they'll do is we'll put it, they'll put in a small pad, and they'll put the generator on there. Normally what they do is they cycle the generator on some sort of regular basis. It could be every 2 weeks, it could be every month. Yeah, at like 10 o'clock in the morning for 15, 20 minutes. That way, most people are at work, nobody's gonna hear it. At the park, nobody really hear it.
Propane or diesel?
Yes,
Propane or diesel?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It could be either. Yeah, it's at the carrier's discretion.
So you need an access road then to bring in, a truck to refill the, tank, whatever.
Well, there's already road there.
Okay.
Yep, already road there. Now, like I said, over at the cemetery, it would have been difficult, you know, the road's not as wide, you know, you wake people up there.
When they start coming up, I'm worried.
But that shouldn't happen too often. But, so that's pretty much what I'm looking to do. I'd rather work with the township rather than, you know, with some, you know, private individual, because that way everybody benefits. And what I'm looking for is, you know, not a commitment to do the tower, but a commitment to work with your solicitor on an agreement that we can come to, and it's pretty fair, and then move forward. Any other questions? Yes, I do.
As I understand what you've been saying, you will own the tower and you will lease the tower to the town, or you lease the tower to the carrier?
I lease the land
You lease the land
from the township.
from the town?
Yes.
So the town owns that land?
Yeah, the township owns the property, I lease the property.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you lease access to the carriers?
Yes,
Okay, just wanna make sure I
yep.
understood the trail.
Patty, any questions?
Not right now, I'm not sure about putting it together and see what it looks like. I think we need to discuss it.
So so the next step for you would be an agreement, right?
Yes.
With, working with Tom?
Yeah, and then what I'll do is, once we have the agreement, then I know it's okay to go to my bank account and start spending money to do all the things that I need to do, like, survey, phase 1 environmental site assessment, a National Environmental Policy Act study, like all the stuff that you need to do. Because now I know I have a property, and then what I'll do is once I have the agreement, now the carriers know, okay, hey, you're serious, because I do have interest here. I can't say with who yet, right, because of confidentiality, but, then they will commit to me, and then boom, I can start spending the money and go for tower.
It's definitely an area that we need.
It's a dead
Service.
zone, it's a dead zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Motion to go ahead and have him.
So, I'm just concerned, so what are your concerns? Because if we enter into an agreement, we're in an agreement.
Well, you wouldn't be approving
No.
an agreement tonight. I mean, I think what you're asking for is to
Stop.
I'm asking,
draft something and to negotiate an
Okay.
agreement.
Yeah.
It would require approval at a separate meeting.
Okay.
yeah,
The terms are unknown at this point.
I'm just looking to have you allow me to talk with Todd, and start the negotiations. And again, it would be an option agreement where, like, I think the first 1 or 2 paragraphs outlines the option where, okay, I have a year or 2 years to do all my due diligence and make sure I get the carriers, because, you know, they have to make sure they have budgeted, monies to do this tower. And it just protects me, to be honest with you. So now I'm not spending all this money and time and energy, and then at the end of the day, I have nothing to show for it. So once I get a carrier that will agree to my lease, then I will exercise the option, which means I send you a letter and say, listen, as of September 1st, 2025, we're exercising the option. So now the agreement is now in effect. And when I start construction, that's when rental payments will start. And after the first 1 or 2 paragraphs, then that is the body of the lease where you do all your terms and conditions, where your insurances and, you know, your subordination and non-disturbance, all the stuff that's fun stuff to negotiate, so. But it's all pretty much standard. It's not really rocket science with the agreements. And I try to be fair where it's not one-sided in my favor. I try to protect, you know, my landlords. But what I'm looking for now is if you guys would approve for me to work with your solicitor on negotiating the agreement, and then when the time comes, and the agreement's, you know, fully negotiated, then we can come here and you can formally approve that we enter into the agreement.
I have a question. Is that area in the parking lot where you mentioned, is that the only option, or is there any other options?
I picked that spot because it seemed to be pretty much the highest spot that was hidden. All right, I don't wanna go down by the baseball field because it's a little bit lower. I think there's like a little bit higher, if you're standing on the roadway and the parking lot, there's a little bit higher area, like a little rolling area to the left, but that's more or less some trees and some grass area. So I'd rather just go in the parking lot, and that way it's out of the way, and people don't see it as much as they would if it was right in the middle of the property. Anything else?
So
Well,
we-
I'm sorry.
Do we just need a motion to,
Motion for Todd to,
to you to get with Todd on an agreement?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd make that motion.
is there a second? A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Truly appreciate it. Again, I apologize for the last 2 weeks. My wife gave it to me that night. If you guys wanna keep these, you can, or I can just take these.
Keep the card up.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, it might be nice to keep those images in case
Okay.
someone from town
Yeah.
reads about it in the minutes and they wanna come see what we're doing.
Okay, perfect. And you have my card, which has my cell phone number and my email address. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Nice
time.
meeting
Thank you.
Take care, Jeff.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
I need to see
No, I knew
what
that.
50 feet by 50 feet is
In that
In that
parking
lot,
area,
right.
you know, before we,
Parking lot's 200 by 200. I think it's 200.
is that from the road?
Sure.
No, that's right.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on.
Yeah.
Pickleball membership costs. So we have a group that plays pickleball Tuesday and Thursday currently, and more people have been joining them. And one of the people that joined them was inquiring about having a membership for pickleball, and they want a decreased cost. So they would pay a membership fee, and then they would only pay like $5 for 4 hours of pickleball. I know we had talked originally about having some kind of membership, but the only thing it would be good for is pickleball. So we kind of said no to it, but I told him that I would bring it up again. So, thoughts?
A membership fee
So
to
that he
pickleball club
he
or
wants,
membership
yeah,
fee
so basically he wants a
to
membership for.
activities at park?
Well, it could be activities at park, but the only thing that it would be for at this point is pickleball. So, and basically he wanted a decreased cost to play pickleball, like $5 for 4 hours, but said they would pay a membership fee in order to get that discounted rate.
And what do they pay now?
$5 per person per hour. But very rarely do people play for 4 hours. Like the people that come Tuesdays and Thursdays play an hour, maybe 2 hours.
So if they all paid a membership fee, then they would pay $5 for everyone?
$5,
$5.
whoever played the membership fee would pay $5 for 4 hours. However, other people that come to that same thing that have been coming, right along, are not crazy about this idea because too many people show up and they don't get to play very much. Because they would alternate people every so many hours.
Can we just look into some different types of memberships first, do a little bit of research on it?
Yeah, I
just
think we
see
did at
what-
the beginning, but basically all we had to offer was pickleball, so we said no.
But like, I mean, just pickleball,
Yeah,
like
sure.
just research some of it
Yeah.
and see, it seems like a pretty big discount.
I agree. So yeah,
I mean, I'm not against the discount, but that's a pretty big discount.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. And we would not, like, it depends on what we would charge for membership.
the average income level of the households here, inside Barrett Township, looking at high income this way, lower income that way. You should very definitely take into consideration, coming up with a way to be fair to the, common population, just to use a term, so that you don't price yourself out of, having the residents enjoy what we offer here inside Barrett Township. I think Barrett Township's great. I've lived here 10 years. I lived in Price for 12 years before that, 14 years. I think Barrett is a great place. I just don't wanna see us, make it so hoity-toity that the residents, the majority of the residents are gonna say, I can't afford that. And that's one of the questions that needs to really be questioned, in your discussions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is a reminder, there's dog park training, at our dog park this Saturday from 11, well, it says 4, but it's really 1, 11 to 1, and that is free of charge. Payroll for weeks ending 9/3/24, gross wages $20,430.74, state tax liability $627.23, federal tax liability $4,531.24, net wages $15,899.50. I'd like to make a motion to approve payroll for weeks ending 9/3. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
We have,
Find a mover?
no. We have, a former Barrett resident who is selling her home and has generously offered our, theater a grand piano. This is a picture of it.
Oh, that's nice.
However, we need to move it here. And, I've been trying to contact piano movers to do that, and I haven't had much luck. So if anyone knows a piano mover, feel free to share that info.
And just because I'm totally like, it needs to be a piano mover?
Yes, and John looked at it, thinking maybe maintenance would be able to move it, but where it's located, it's kind of like a side room, up a step, through a doorway, down other steps, and it's very heavy and very large.
I didn't know, that's
So
what I was
it
curious
would
about.
be, yeah, it would be extremely
Like, I
difficult
can
for
get some
someone
guys.
not, yeah, for somebody
I was
not,
gonna say.
not accustomed to moving pianos, I don't want it to get damaged.
Okay.
Just so you know, just to give you a little bit more information on this, underneath this is a player piano as well.
Mhm.
And underneath this, straight, right at the bottom there, there's a control panel under there that has to be really, you can't,
You can't jiggle it.
professional
delicate, it's
mover,
delicate.
you have to move.
Exactly.
So I wasn't gonna touch it.
Okay.
And I don't think any of us should touch it until we find out, but maybe get a hold of Dylan, what's that, the movement guy that, maybe he knows somebody, the Dylan,
Dylan and
Atlas.
Jenna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but.
Pam has the contact information.
Yes.
If I may make a suggestion, contact companies maybe in the ABE area that sell pianos and see who they use for moving a piano.
And we've talked to
Yep.
Scranton, we've been all over.
Yep.
We've been,
Okay.
we're in the
Yeah.
business of that, so we're in good
Okay,
shape.
I just wanted to throw
Thanks for
that
your
out.
help.
there.
Yes, thank you. Creative Theater Homeschool Program, so this was an organization that, is interested in running a program. They were gonna do a summer program, they didn't have the interest, so this is for homeschool kids. It's Thursdays and it says September 12th, but he pushed it out till the 19th because he's trying to get a couple more people. He has 4 people signed up right now. So it would be using the theater space on Thursdays, for however many weeks this is. And then at the end, they would have a performance. So that's just a reminder. Colonial Intermediate Unit, we're partnering with them again. We did this last year, and this is, providing work for, special needs students. We did it last year, there was 2 students. This year, there's only gonna be 1 student, so just a FYI that that's happening. Next, resolution for an LSA grant. So I'm gonna be applying for an LSA grant for a generator to run this whole facility. We have had an engineer design the specifications that we would need. It's gonna be, the estimated cost is $600,000. So I'm applying for an LSA grant for that, and this is a resolution, that goes along with the application. So we'll just have to sign this before we leave, but I would like to make a motion to adopt the resolution 091124 for the LSA grant for the generator. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pam, I was wondering if, because this would be a emergency facility, if there's any other state money or federal money
So if this
besides
is
OSAP?
categorized as an emergency shelter, there's a lot of steps you have to go through to get that categorization.
Oh, okay,
We will do that eventually, it just hasn't happened yet.
right,
There's a lot of more things to it.
okay.
So this is the first step to get a generator, but you have to have specific showers and cots, and there's a lot more to it.
Oh,
I spoke to
okay.
Rosemary Brown about it already,
Mhm.
but there's a lot to get that designation.
Okay,
But there probably is more money if we get it,
okay,
when we get it.
when we get it.
Um,
We're starting baby steps, I know.
A $600,000 baby step, but yeah. So Rotary Club Christmas tree lighting. So previously Rotary Club would have their Christmas tree lighting at the Mountain Home Methodist Church. And I met with Eric Noon from Rotary this week and to talk about moving it here, to our side yard here. This year it would be just the Christmas tree lighting, but in years we can expand on that, having, you know, Christmas village or whatever. We have the room to expand here, which is what was enticing to them. So a couple parts of that, Rotary is talking about donating the tree and donating the lights for it. We would have to get electric run from the building out to the corner for that tree. That's the expensive part. So I did get a quote, no, we don't, not that spot.
Where's the tree gonna be?
It's gonna be in the corner by the sign. You know,
Up in the street,
the,
Isn't there electrical?
up where you put your new sign?
no, not out there, out the side here. The sign, you know the sign on the corner that says District Court Street?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, so if you go right out this door, right there.
We have time
Yeah.
to build it there.
We do, but you have to dig and pull it
Yeah,
out
it's
there.
just a house.
Yeah, it's $4,000.
For day price?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get additional quotes. We may be running an extension cord this year.
I was gonna say, it's not.
Back to the church we go.
Yeah, so we could run an extension cord out the classroom, but yeah.
$29.95.
$4,000.
Well,
Or
now
that-
the church is finally becoming a tree.
I know, but we can do so much more here. Yes,
Just as a suggestion, for $700 or less, you can go to Costco, BJ, and buy a gasoline generator that is 7.5 kilowatts. And that will be certainly more than enough to run the power for this tree or lights or whatever.
Right, but the rotary tree, when we do it, it stays on all night long. So we run the generator, makes noise.
Generator runs 10 hours on a tank.
Does that make noise though?
for the.
Yeah, I don't think.
So then what'll happen is we'll end up getting complaints from the
Sorry
people
about
on
that.
Prices Drive.
Get that out.
It doesn't make that much noise.
See, but thank you for thinking also.
No,
I have to run my generator and
And, okay,
And
so-
every night, all through December,
And we would have to
keep
be
the lights on.
constantly putting gas in the generator, yeah. it's
We would
just-
have some
these are
unhappy,
long-term.
we would have some
Send me a
unhappy.
suggestion.
Sure would. Thank you.
Got her.
So I'm gonna get another quote and, we'll revisit that. Monroe County Municipal Waste Management Plan. That's this, whoever wants to read it. It's many, many pages, but that's up here if anyone is interested. Billberry Excavating, this is a notification that DEP completed its review and approved the 2025 non-substantial revision, oh, that's that, sorry, I'm on the wrong one.
I was gonna say, his DEP.
Well, his is from, yeah, his is DEP also. So, they are submitting general air permit applications to DEP, so this is just an FYI. We have no certificates of insurance. Anything else? Any public comment?
Is that my turn?
It's your turn.
Thank you. Dave Nyker, 494 Pocono Hill Plateau Road. Just my fourth time here in a row, and at this point, I'd like to say thank you. It was what I would consider a large effort by John Cease's people to do some repairs.
Well, we did some repairs.
Did some repairs, and I can say on a 10 scale, it was taking my road from a 1 to a solid 5. But I would. I'm wondering, is there thoughts or dare I say plans
Yeah.
to do further?
Yeah, let me explain something, sir. we're going to we're working with the conservation district right now. And we're going, what we used to do is, it's a low volume road, and the reason we didn't continue with anything more with them, because they just did a tar and chip. Now they do regular paving, so it's like, and they're based, they run off the county. Darrell used to work for the conservation district, and he could probably throw something in there as well. But, we have to go get certified. We have to go all the way to, up in Waverly, way up in Bradford County to get certified. We have to go to a two-day class. So once we get that done, then we'll start the ball rolling, get everything rolling. So through the winter months, we'll get it going, Dave, and hopefully we get it, and that would be one of our low volume roads that we would pave. So,
Now, ostensibly, Pocono Plateau Road is 3 segments.
Right.
That raggedy piece from 191 to the camp, and that paved portion that you did 3 years ago, which constitutes the center section, and then there's where they put the millings in, basically 3 years ago also to finish the third portion, where it flows into Green Township. Now, any plans for the milled portion?
not this year, that's as far as we're gonna go, because, we wanna leave it like it is, only for the simple reason when they come to look at it and do the inspection on it, the conservation district, that they see what we have. I mean, we can't really put any more blacktop on it.
No.
We just wanna leave it
Just
go.
what we-
It's just gonna stay like that, we'll maintain it the best we can, through the winter, till springtime, and, hopefully spring, summer, when the blacktop plant's open early in the year, we'll get it on the schedule, and hopefully get moving on.
Not telling you your job like I commonly do, but that part that you did pave is the seam in the middle, it's quite a few
Right.
spots where it was done poorly and it's already getting water infiltration.
We didn't, we just that was kind of a patch paved job, we didn't even really, we just used.
Because it's,
that.
right, it's thin and it's already
Right.
cracking on the sides, you're not gonna tar that to maintain it? Alright,
Probably not this year. We did what we're gonna do on that, and let it go to.
I don't wanna see you get like the first segment,
Yeah.
because it's lack of
It'll,
maintenance.
it'll last till springtime for us to get these guys in here, get our paving crew in,
Alright, and is there any last things you're gonna do on that entrance egress from 191? It's
Well, on
still
the,
pretty
right
shy.
there at 191, that one that goes out to the right, that's never been a part of the camp made that in there.
Can't, alright.
So that's
I
not
don't know
us.
if you realize UPS trucks, when they come up and they wanna make a right there,
Well, that's-
there's no making a right, you
Well,
can't
that's
see.
it, we didn't make that, that was never there. I mean, I could block that off if I wanted to, whatever, the camp did that's for their own use. So that was years ago, an agreement they made,
Got it.
and, it's this way or that's it.
Well, again, I wanted to
But
say,
that's the best we can do.
I wanna say I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, we're
Appreciate your effort.
gonna get you fixed up,
Yeah.
it's no problem.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you. Anything else?
I came out here specifically for the peace and tranquility ordinance. Is there gonna be any further discussion? My question is really boiled down to the fact that I have met, Joshua Prince a number of years ago as a firearms enthusiast myself. And I was under the impression that this is settled law, and now we've got an attorney out of the, southern reaches of Pennsylvania that wants to litigate and take taxpayer money for what I consider to be settled law. So, is there gonna be any further discussion on that topic tonight, or?
Not tonight.
No.
Not tonight. Anything else?
The only thing I have is just something for people to read about. Darrell had mentioned not mowing the entire property that we have now, so I copied some things on the benefits of not mowing, saving money, saving time, so I think there's, and I kind of highlighted, it's pretty basic. You mow twice a year, once in the early
No
spring,
rain.
and then again
I
in
thought they were
April
public roads.
to keep things down, and you
I
can
might
mow.
have.
Did you read it? You can mow paths, because we've had a lot of people that were saying they can't walk on the road anymore, and because for some reason they don't think they can just walk in the fields. And so you could have areas that are not mowed, that are paths leading around along the edges and, you know, done so that you're throwing in some wildflower seeds. We've got a huge number of plants growing down by Ice Lake that we can get seeds from and just scatter them, and then, it cuts down on mowing, it makes it prettier, you've got more habitat, and you still can have these walking trails going through that people could use. And so, I just thought I'd pass that on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You signed it. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Okay.
See you, Dave, take care.
Dave, Dave, you got a second?
We have the district governor.
So,
I text Danny.
when the folks from Lake Shady were here last,
All right, see you guys.